contact information for everybody who's in the meeting today. She's going to get that to me. And then I will be making available to you all a free hour to just have a conversation with me. If you want to set up HubSpot, I won't get ahead of my presentation, but I'll show you. Everybody thinks, oh my God, it's super expensive. It's not like Salesforce. Actually, HubSpot has, this year, they made a change in their strategy. Their focus, their sweet spot is small, medium business. They're not really going after the big corporations like Salesforce does. So they've got some super affordable, pretty robust entry levels for even solopreneurs that make it super affordable. Just to leverage some technology, and I'll share some other tools with everybody as well.
Awesome. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. I want to respect everyone's time, and people that show up late, they're just going to miss out here. So welcome everybody to the Workagenics Mastermind. We do this every month. There's some new faces here. We try to focus on topics that are going to help our clients and partners grow and scale their businesses, whether it's technologies, whether it's leveraging virtual professionals. We want to just make sure that we are adding value to continue to grow and scale our businesses in the most cost-effective way. So I appreciate everyone showing up here today. We're going to have a special presentation from Posey with ClearBox Strategies. He is a marketing, sales, customer experience expert, has some great wisdom to share with us. And then after that, we'll have open Q&A with him, and then some time where we can just kind of go around and share some wins, if we have any, with using our virtual professionals over the last month, and any tips or tricks that people want to share and talk about, and then we'll wrap up. So without further ado, Clay, I'll let you take over and introduce yourself and get going.
Sure thing. Thank you, Harley, first of all, for letting me do this. I've been a Workagenics client for, I guess, about 3, maybe 4 months now. I guess this is my 4th month here. Daryl, my virtual assistant, is actually on the call today. He's going to be doing part of this presentation. He's going to show you a little bit about how we automate prospecting to grow our business. My company name is ClearBox Strategies. We're a sales, marketing, technology, consulting, enablement, do it for you firm. We wear a lot of hats in that regard. Quick company history. Prior to the COVID shutdown, all my clients were in Chattanooga. My employees were all in Chattanooga. We were very much a local-based, local-focused company. Went through that wonderful lockdown period where everybody had to focus on tools like this and meetings like this to get things done. We have shifted now where all of my workforce is distributed, including my virtual assistant, and most of my clients are someplace else. I have 2 clients in the Chattanooga area. Everybody else is scattered all across the U.S., with a couple of companies inquiring from over in Great Britain here in the last week. So it's interesting to watch how, once you shift your mindset, how you can be right here local, but you can have a much further reach than you realize. And so that sort of leads into the presentation. I'm going to have a slide deck. Hopefully not going to be too boring. We're going to give you some examples of some technology that you can leverage. The processes that we use in-house. I want to show you how Daryl really helps me in sales process. And these are things, if you're one of the VAs that's on here, things you can offer to whoever your clients are. But for those of you all who are like me and have a VA, great ways, new ways for you to leverage that. So give me 1 second here to get my PowerPoint up, and we'll make sure everybody can see the screen. Yes.
Yeah, we're good.
So this is selling for small business and solopreneurs. We're going to start with a little video here. This is a free app I'm going to be making available to everybody. This is a little Google Sheet that I wrote a little script for. Daryl uses this when he's prospecting. He'll show you more about how that works later. Let me give you a quick overview on this app. You're going to get a copy of this video. You'll also get a copy of this slide deck after this is over. So let me get this. And
hey y'all, I'm Celeste, and I'll be your AI assistant today. We are going to use a tool that you'll get for free for attending today's seminar. If I sound like I'm from just down the way, It's because my voice was especially chosen for a Southern audience. Listen close, cause this one is a bit tricky to set up, but it can save you a bunch of time when you're trying to build a list of companies that you'd like to have as customers. We'll use Google Sheets to pull this together, and we'll be asking a company called Clearbit for their help in finding websites. It isn't perfect, and lots of small companies don't appear, but you can find those by hand. Before we get started, I want to say thank you to Daryl. He is Clay's virtual assistant, and he built this slide presentation to show you some new ways to do things. Anyway, let's get started and see what we can do. First, you'll need to log into your Google account. If you don't have one, there's no worry, just sign up. It's free. Clay is going to share this file with you after the meeting, and the first thing you'll want to do is make a copy. So click the link in his email, and when you get here, click on File. It's right next to the green sheet icon, and then make a copy. So far, so good. Right. Okay, on to the next step. When you make a copy, you'll get this pop-up window. You're going to want to name your file now. Name it whatever you want, but make sure it tells you what the file is so you can find it later. After you name it, you're going to teach it to fetch, just like that lazy coon hound in the backyard. Well, hopefully better than him. Click on the little pop-out icon, and it'll take you to a new screen. Let's have a look at that screen now. This is a tiny little program Clay pulled together for y'all. It tells the Google Sheet to go hunt for a web address to match the company names you add to your list. You're going to have to give it permission to do that, so click on Run, and then click on Review Permissions when the box pops up, like you see on the screen behind me. When you get here, you're going to have to log in to prove to Google that you're really you, so go ahead and click on your Gmail address. It might ask you for your password, so if it does, put that in too. Now don't panic. This isn't an official app, but Google treats it like one. You can go ahead and click on the little gray advanced link, and then click on Go to Fetch. If you are getting these warnings from a stranger, then you would not want to do this. Anyway, you'll click those. Give Fetch permission to connect to Clearbit, the data source. Click on Allow, and then click Make a Copy. Depending on how you have your privacy permissions set, you might not see any of these warnings, but I didn't want it to throw you for a loop if you did. If you've done everything right so far, this is where the fun begins. All you have to do is add company names to the blue column. When you do, Google Sheet will fetch the web address from Clearbit and paste it in the yellow column. Simple as that. You can paste in a list or type them in one by one, whatever suits your fancy. If you get a message that says error, don't worry a bit. Just look those up by hand. I hope this saves y'all a bunch of time. You'll have to let us know what you think. Well, that's it. Thanks y'all for listening and for putting up with me while I talk to y'all through this. I've got Clay's contact information over here on my right. You're going to get a copy of this video too, so it will be there when you need it. I'm going to turn it back over to Clay now. He's got some more to share. Thanks again. Hey y'all,
Okay. So took just a very short time for me to spin that video up, less than an hour. Great sales tool, great way to connect with folks. If nothing else, they just become enchanted with the technology. So what we're going to do today is we're going to hit just three things from a 10,000 foot view. One is an introduction to my basic business systems approach. I'm very system and process oriented. This is going to be about working on your business, not working in your business. We're going to look at the sales system in particular and the best low cost and free sales tools that I've found for you to be able to automate your sales process and scale your efforts without having to scale your payroll. So the first thing we want to look at is that this is all about lifestyle. At the end of the day, your sales goal should be the number of clients or the amount of money that you need to fund whatever it costs you to run your business and your desired lifestyle, because at the end of it, that's really what we're all looking for, is our lifestyle. So back when I was starting my first company, this is 1993, 1994 timeline, I developed a series of systems that really are involved in making every business of whatever kind it is work successfully. Now, I was starting a construction business at that time. We worked in the fire and water restoration industry. But it begins with the gatekeeper, then goes around the wheel to sales, design, and estimating, where you figure out what your product offering is going to be and what it costs. Then there's the financial system that's on the bottom, because it's a supporting system. That's where you're doing your accounting and taking a look at your numbers. Personnel, which is how you structure all the people you need to accomplish the business goals. Your communication systems now, which is how do you communicate internally and how do you communicate with your customers. Production is obviously how you deliver whatever it is that you do. And then all of that cycles back to marketing. Marketing is bringing in new people, but it's also marketing to your existing clients to either sell them additional services or to use them as a source of referrals. We're going to focus just on the sales system today. I'll give you a few quick definitions here. I'm not going to read this whole slide to you. Again, you'll get the slide deck at the end, so you'll be able to refer back to these. But you want to think about your clients, and I refer to clients rather than customers, because clients are people that you take under your care. Customers are just people you sell stuff to. And the more you can take people under your wing that you look out for their best interest, the better your business is going to be. A prospect is a potential client. Cost of acquisition is just how much does it cost to get somebody in the front door? What does it actually cost you to put a new customer, sign a contract, and go to work for them? Versus the cost of retention, which is what does it cost you to keep a customer you already have? Your churn rate is how fast people churn through your system. Replacement rate is the rate of how fast you can replace those people that churn out. Your break-even point is how much money does it take to get to zero. So your total revenue equals your total expenses. There's no profit at that point, but there's also not a loss. And then there's a couple of revenue models. This is more what we're interested in today, which is how you generate revenue. So one way is transactional. This is like if you have a website where you're selling a product, it's a transactional model. If you have a retainer model or a subscription model, that's where you go back month after month. Workergenics is a retainer model. That's where you're paying for services on an ongoing basis. I really like to look at any business that I consult with and see if there's a way for them to build a retainer subscription into what they're doing, because that builds stability in your cash flow and lets you do a better job of forecasting as a business owner. Your steps are going to be to determine what your revenue model is or what you'd like it to be, what your break-even point is, so you know what your costs are and what your income is, so you know how much money you have to make just to exist. And then you want to set your sales revenue goals and you develop your strategy to achieve those. You can do that through a pipeline. You can visualize your sales as if you had a board in your office and you're moving people across this pipeline. Used to have did pipelines on whiteboards. Now everything is digital. But it's the process that you take people through to help them get from raising their hand and saying they're interested in your business to becoming a new client. And you do that through CRM. Hopefully somebody besides me is old enough to know what a Rolodex is, but that's really what your CRM is now. And you're going to do that using sales sequences, which is where you automate prospects after you have a first conversation with them, or if you're trying to get that first conversation, you can set up automatic emails and text messages, LinkedIn messages, other forms to reach out to them, so that you can be reaching to 50, 100 people or more at the same time, but you don't have to do anything. It's all happening automatic, and you only get involved if somebody responds to one of those messages. Let me kind of take a breath here for a second and see if anybody's got any immediate questions before we keep going. Okay, I heard something, but I got a full screen view here, so I can't see it.
There was just a chat message. Adrian said, "This is great."
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, thanks, Adrian. We'll keep going then. So you heard Harley mention HubSpot earlier. That HubSpot is my go-to platform for everything. All of my clients are on this platform as well, from the very, very basic free level all the way up through the enterprise level. It allows you to take care of all of your marketing, all of your sales, all of your customer service needs, including having your website hosted on one platform. Everything talks to everything else, so you get great visibility as a business owner into what's going on there. This is a demo sales pipeline here, and you can see what I was talking about. You have deals that are in the appointment schedule phase. They've just raised their hand from a response to a web form. They've called in. They've booked a meeting on your calendar, whatever it is. You qualify them to buy. You move that deal here, and in HubSpot, that's simply a matter of drag and drop. You can schedule a presentation, bring in any decision makers, contract gets sent out, and then obviously they go to closed won or closed lost. These stages can all be customized to match whatever it is that your system involves for selling to folks. But this is your pipeline, and this is where you can manage folks and keep up with them. If this were a live HubSpot, not just a screenshot, everything you see in teal is clickable, so you can filter this list. You can click through here and see all the information about the deal, whoever's involved, all the contacts that are involved in that deal, the company that's involved, and all kinds of data. This is just a quick peek into pricing. So they have a free tool set that you can set up. It is totally free. It's free forever. It's not a free trial. It's very, very limited, but it lets you at least get used to, can I manage my business in the digital space or not, without having any kind of a financial commitment. This new customer offer that HubSpot has is unbelievable, where you get their whole suite of software at $30 a month if you agree to an annual commitment. If you just want to commit on a month-to-month basis, it's $50 a month. But if you're willing to tell them, okay, yeah, I'll pay this for 12 months, it's $30 a month. That gets you Marketing Hub, which is where you can manage Google ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, as well as organic posts on social platforms. You can run your email campaigns out of that, what you might be currently doing in Constant Contact or MailChimp. You have the Sales Hub Starter, which is where you run your pipeline that we were just referring to. Service Hub is where you do customer service follow-up, so you can have your clients be able to submit service tickets, or you can follow up with surveys saying, how did we do? And those can go out automatically, and then that information can get routed in different directions based on what their responses are. The CMS Hub Starter is a content management system. I'm glad to drill down into any of these if somebody wants more details when we get done with the presentation. But that actually becomes your website. Everything is drag and drop. It's about the easiest interface out there. It's no code involved. You pick a theme and you start building your website, or you can hire an agency like Clearbox to do that for you. But it is very user-friendly. So as much as you want to do yourself, you can do yourself. It's not like Salesforce or WordPress, where unless you know code, you end up having to get somebody else involved somewhere along the way. A couple of other great tools we use for prospecting are Rocket Reach and, of course, LinkedIn. We want to find companies and contacts with emails and phone numbers. This is where we use that little URL finder that you saw in the AI-generated video earlier. And we pull those into the HubSpot CRM. And this is where I'm going to introduce Daryl. Daryl is my VA and is a phenomenal person to have working with me on this. Daryl does a lot of prospecting and list building for Clearbox. I'm going to take my screen off of screen share here for just a second and introduce him. and let Daryl is actually going to show you start to finish how he would go find a contact. He'll use that list building tool you saw mentioned. He's going to show exactly how we would go find a contact if it's somebody that I wanted to make a cold reach to. That's not somebody that's reached out to us before. So Daryl, I'm turning it over to you, man.
All right. Thank you, Clay. Good morning, everyone. How's it going? All right. So this is a quick a bit. Gonna show you how you do a lead generation. Okay. I'm gonna share my screen now. Okay. Okay. Just tell me if you see it.
It's coming. There you go.
All right. Okay. This is the Google sheet that Clay mentioned. First thing that I do to generate a lead list. Since our prospect is all the golf course, the Clearbox has a prospect for a golf course, hunting, travel. What I did is I'm using a Chat GPT. Chat GPT is very useful. It's in an AI tools. You have to just say what you want on the Chat GPT, like I type here. Just create me a company list of golf course located at United States. So Chat GPT gave me to this. There you go. We have the list here. Now, I'm gonna put here that company on the automated finding company URL. Let's have a sample here. Let's say this one, American Golf Corporation. So it will auto generate when you paste that company. It will auto generate the URL of that company. Now it's loading. Okay, let's try the Yahoo. All right. So sometimes it didn't work if the company has no website. All right.
Type in Workergenics, Daryl.
Here we go. So now after that, what I'm doing is how to locate some of key people to the company. So we have to use these tools. We call it Rocket Reach. We can you can subscribe there because when you're finding some contacts on that certain company, you have to use this one. If you can see this yellow field, say that you have 94 lookups remaining. So I have for contact that they look up on the site, we using lookups. Okay, so for the search purposes, so I just pre-search this pitching booker. This is the company, so the already have here. So after that, you have to go click the employees. Then here we go. You have those what we can say the company employees, and you can see their positions like this one. And when you get their if you want to get their contacts, yeah, you just get their contact here, and you can see our lookups been from 94 is go to 93. So here we go. We have the contact in, and then you can list down it. You can put it on your sheet, on your working sheet like this. That I mean that I've been using here. Okay, I think that's it. So you have your lead list on your on your workplace, something like this. So all of these was generated by at rocketreach.com. So this is very useful. And this one that Clay mentioned to you, this is the automate finding company URL. I think Clay showed the presentation to how to use it. No, yeah, you just follow that instruction and you can use it anytime. Okay, that's it. My presentation for now. Thank you,
That's
guys.
perfect. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. So then once Daryl's built that list for us, he imports those back into HubSpot, and then we can begin our outreach through email or through phone calls or whatever else that we want to do. Let me jump back into our presentation now. So that's Rocket Reach. We can also enrich that data off of LinkedIn by going and looking up these people on LinkedIn. One of the things I like to do is put in my sequences is I'll make a phone call, I'll send them a cold email, and then I will send them a LinkedIn connect request, or if it's depending on the particular group that I'm prospecting to, I may just find them in LinkedIn and then start engaging with their posts, even if, just follow them without asking for a connect request and just making relevant comments, not something cheesy like insightful or good point, but actually trying to ask thoughtful questions and engage with them on LinkedIn. Now, this is all in the B2B world, obviously. Here's another tool, has a free version. All of these tools, by the way, integrate with HubSpot. But Reggie.ai is about the best cold email and engagement writer I've ever seen. This will write your email sequences for you when you're prospecting after you give it a few prompts. It lets you send out sequence emails. You can even do A/B tests. So you send out version A to half your list and version B to half your list and see which one performs better. People that respond to those emails get added into HubSpot so that then we can continue to follow up with them. And it has a writing assistant. So if I'm writing an email, I use Google Workspaces. So if I'm writing an email in Gmail, it will take that content and expand on it, simplify it. If I'm using too many $10 words, it will help me pull it back down to a better level. If I need to be more concise, it will help shorten it up so that I'm not too verbose in my emails, because shorter emails get read. Another tool that we like to use is a platform called Kixie. This is a power dialer. What Kixie does is it lets you make multiple phone calls at one time, and then it's going to connect you to the one that answers. So again, lets you as a solopreneur prospect at scale. It has a really important sequencing tool called a voicemail drop, where you can leave a voicemail for someone without ever ringing their phone. So you don't interrupt them, you don't disturb them, but voicemail pops up. The great thing about that is now there's a little voicemail showing on there as a red dot on their phone. And if they're OCD like I am, they got to go see what that red dot is. And if it's any kind of a modern phone, cell phone that they have at all, there's going to be a transcript to your message there. So your message is going to get through to them, where they may have spam filters. They may not take calls from numbers they don't recognize, but now your voicemail is there and they can read it. You can also text off of this for one-to-one texts. And again, it's got a full integration with HubSpot. So all your phone calls get recorded so that you can go back and review them later. Or if you've got a sales team that's working for you, you can go back and look at those and look at them. So the free resources that you're going to get at the end is the URL finder tool that you saw at the beginning. The company systems that we have actually have a worksheet for you to go through on those to self-grade your company systems. When all I did was just general business consulting, I used this as an intake form for potential clients. So they could look at it, and you scale all of those systems as to where you are from 0 at the bottom to 100% at the top. Wheels have to be round to roll. So that shows you very quickly where your weak points are in that process. And then I'm all in your own business process. And then I'm also offering everybody a 1-hour consultation. There'll be a meeting link in the email that I send everyone. I'm happy to chat with you an hour about whatever it is on sales and marketing that you want to chat about. That's what we do for companies every day. And this is not 1 hour for me to give you a sales pitch. This is 1 hour for me to answer questions, help you set up HubSpot, help you build this email sequence in Reggie, whatever you want to do. That's it. Again, you get this slide deck. So here's our contact information if you want to know more. And I appreciate everybody putting up with me to this point. And I guess now we'll just open this up, Harley, for whatever questions, thoughts, comments people have.
Yeah, thanks, Clay. That was great. I had a couple questions, if I can jump in, just kind of to on like the software, like Reggie and Kixie and stuff. Is that something? Do those programs have like referral links or things? Like if you've got an account already and you can send out if people are wanting to sign up. I know a lot of services like that offer things where you'll get credit and they'll get some credit. So I just wanted to make sure that if you're going to be, we can maybe include those links in the email we send out with everything else.
Sure. Yeah. The only one for that is HubSpot. We are a HubSpot agency. So if you're going to sign up for HubSpot, if you want to let me know ahead of time, then basically what I'm going to do is register your domain, and then that way I get credit for it. Whether you sign up as free or whether you sign up for a paid version. If you're interested in getting a paid version, I'm not going to beat that $30 a month price, but if you need a higher level, typically my clients, I negotiate about a 40 to 42% discount with HubSpot for my clients. So happy to do that for you guys as well.
Perfect. So folks, if you are comfortable chatting questions, you can chat. If you want to just unmute and ask questions for Clay, that's fine as well. One thing I wanted to kind of hit on, Clay, was obviously we saw where Daryl was being used to get that initial kind of lead contact information. Have you utilized the VAs or the virtual professionals kind of in further downstream in the sales pipeline successfully before?
Have I? Or yes to me?
Yes.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, right before this, Daryl was on a meeting with one of my largest clients. They're over in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He's going to be building out for them some workflow automations in HubSpot and building their sales pipeline out for them. They just bought a big conference center over in Sunset Beach, North Carolina, and they're ready to start marketing that on a B2B thing. So he's going to be doing list building and stuff for them, but he's also going to be helping build out their sales tools and automation for their sales team to use on down the line. So he's actually in a client meeting with me just a bit ago.
Awesome. And then one thing that I keyed in on is you were talking about how sometimes you'll foster those leads on LinkedIn with engagement posts and reaching out to them that way and messaging. Have you ever tried having Daryl do that on your behalf?
We have not gone there yet. He will be. Daryl does write blog posts for our blog. He writes website content. He does SEO on our website on the back end, which is hosted on the HubSpot CMS. So he does generate content for us there, and he's done some posts for LinkedIn where it's just taking the blog post and making sure those get posted up on the company page, that kind of thing.
I will share one thing we do is we have our social media manager and then his team that works under him. They'll go on like behalf of either on LinkedIn, like just my account. I don't ever personally log into LinkedIn. They do that for me, or like our actual business pages on Facebook and Instagram and stuff. And they'll go and have their own kind of engaging comments on posts on prospective leads that way. And in addition to just showing like you're engaged and stuff, one thing people don't think about is like it just gets your name out there, and so people see your business, being actively engaged, and instead of just so many businesses have these social media accounts that are stale, and you wonder, are they even running a business? So that's a great opportunity to leverage the virtual professionals. Does anybody have questions for Clay on like HubSpot, customer service, the sales pipeline process? I know we all kind of have different business models and different things, and so like feel free to like just kind of share what your model is and how, if you use a CRM or struggles you've had with getting to using a CRM. We'd love to hear from everybody. I want to pick on some people if you don't volunteer.
Hey Clay, so Adrienne here. This is fabulous. And question I have for you, in the real estate space, there are a lot of CRMs that are real estate specific. And I'm sure you see that in a lot of industries. So do you recommend, HubSpot seems fabulous. Do you recommend it for all industries? Is there ever a situation where you say to any of your clients that they should use anything other than HubSpot, or is it like a 100% solution in your world?
For me, it's 100% solution because it's so customizable. I actually have a client that just purchased HubSpot last month. Adrian, she owns a real estate agency, independent, not one of the franchises, not Keller Williams or Remax or something like that. She's making a switch from Property-Based Go, which sits on top of the Salesforce platform. So we're migrating her CRM, her marketing automation. We're moving everything over to HubSpot, including the website, because we can make the MLS calls. One of the key features for her was being able to send out dynamic newsletters to her clients that have properties that come on the market that match the client's profile, what their wish list is. So in HubSpot, we can set up an email template that goes and it looks at the IDX feed from MLS, and then we'll populate, hey, here's 5 new properties that are a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a garage in North Chat, and send those out, as well as have that dynamic content available on their website, which will also be in HubSpot.
Awesome.
Jeff, it looks like you're thinking about a question.
I'm thinking about a question. Yes. Hey, Clay, thank you for sharing. Hey, I run Chattanooga Real Producers, and I think one of my questions is, does HubSpot do anything like bulk? Can you send bulk email? Can you send bulk text? Anything like that to communicate with a large group of people all at once?
Yeah. So in the marketing hub on HubSpot, Jeff, and happy to give you a deep dive on that if you want. It has the marketing email template. So just like Constant Contact or MailChimp or something like that, you've got your list of contacts. You build your email in there and send it out. And those can be formatted emails that are, fancy styling and images and video embeds and that kind of thing. Or you can set them up to be so they look more like transactional emails that are going out over your signature.
One of the problems that I have with like Constant Contact and MailChimp is they get stuck in spam so often. And so I actually use, for my CRM, I use Copper. And one of the reasons that drew me to Copper was it integrates really well with Gmail, and which doesn't get lost when you send bulk mail. It doesn't get lost in spam. What's your thought about HubSpot doing that?
So with HubSpot, well, the first thing, let me back up a step. Put on my geek hat. You need to, for your email sending domain, you need to make sure you've got your DMARC, which is domain recognition policies, set up. You need to have your DKIM set up and SPF records. And I know I just spoke Greek to most of the people that are on here. That's critical for email deliverability. HubSpot has a fantastic integration with Google Workspaces. Alphabet is one of their largest investors in HubSpot. It's a publicly traded company. It's really on the move up right now too, if you guys are looking for a single stock you want to invest in. But back to that really gives you great deliverability. You get an email health score every month, so that's updated real time, so you can track open rates, reply rates, click-throughs, balances, unsubscribes. And HubSpot also automatically filters unengaged prospects. So if you have somebody that's you're pounding their inbox and they're getting in there, but they're just hitting delete, eventually HubSpot will classify those as an unengaged contact, which protects your email sender score. It's kind of like your credit score. And so it helps you protect that, so you do get that deliverability that you're looking for.
Does it have any ability to do texting as well, bulk texting?
Texting is always a bolt-on for HubSpot. In other words, we'd write an integration. So we set you up on Twilio and integrate that, or Text Request, which is a local Chattanooga company. Text Request integrates with HubSpot to let you be able to do texting as scale, or to automate that. So if somebody fills out a form, you can have it automatically, send out a personalized text. So it would have a personalization token that would say, hey, Jeff, thanks for signing up for our newsletter. will be communicating to you by text or whatever you want it to say.
Gotcha. Cool. That's good information. Thanks.
Great questions, Jeff. Thank you.
Hey, Clay, this is Tanisha. I have a question. Well, question, comment really quick. Great presentation. Harley, thank you so much for the invite. So in my business, automations is kind of like my mission for 2023. I really want to master automations. And I like that part about HubSpot, and also the part about how it can interact with your website. Can you speak more about how that works? Is that through like leads, or is that through like some sort of data entry portion of the website that is capturing that information?
So I will, give me just a half a second here, and I'm going to actually show you from a client. I can show you the back end of what we're doing for them. Just pull up a couple of things here real fast. So this will give you an idea. So one of my oldest clients is the Macklemore, which is a new golf community development up on Lookout Mountain. This is their website. And one of the highest converting forms we have for them is just their general contact form. So somebody hits the contact button up on the right-hand side. They see this pops up. This is a form that was built in HubSpot right here. I'm in the CRM with a deliberate typo in my email, but you can see this is pre-populated, this information already, because it recognizes my IP address. But this form lets people select things that they might be interested in and then submit that form. And when they do, what happens is it actually goes to a deal creation workflow. So you can see that the form submission is what triggers this workflow to run. So we set a timestamp for when it was submitted. We set their life cycle property. And then we start routing that that lead. So let me zoom this out just a little bit, because that form has so many options. You can see this is a pretty big workflow that we have here with a lot of branching conditions. But the end of the day, what we want to do is either create a repeat deal for whatever kind of it is, whether somebody wants to have their wedding there, they want to have an event there, they want to come play golf, but that it creates either a repeat or a new deal and assigns it to the appropriate person, or in the case of golf, they have a whole sales team, so it will rotate those leads through a team, and then that creates a deal in their pipeline, like you saw on the slide that I had earlier, that a salesperson can take action on. Does that answer your question? You need to know more.
No, that was good. I like it. Thanks.
Awesome. Great question, Tanisha. Thank you.
And one of the other things those workflows can do, Tanisha, is when they hit submit on that button, it automatically generates an email that is, it's what I call the "you did it right" email that just pops in their inbox to say, hey, we got your information, and somebody will be in touch, or tell them what the next steps are, so that that visitor always has a clear future of what's going to happen next now that they gave some information.
Having automations like that is really important, especially notifying like an actual customer care representative, whether it's a virtual professional or your local team. I just had an unfortunate experience with a local car dealership. I won't name any names right now, where I scheduled an appointment through their online system. I selected an option for shuttle drop off, which it was all through their website. And I showed up yesterday at the scheduled time and I said, okay, I'm ready to get, shuttled back. I got to get back for my son's Little League game. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, the shuttle ended at 2 o'clock today. I was like, well, then why was it even an option on the form? And why did, I had special requests in there, re-emphasizing this. Nobody like ever saw this schedule request. It was never in front of anybody. It just kind of went on their schedule. And then even then when I showed up, it was not like a guaranteed they're going to be working on the car at this time. So I was just like, I think they need to have a talk with Clay about customer service and automating and using their systems to actually like have a good experience for the customer.
I have a question. Clay and Darryl, thank you so much for all that information. It was really amazing. Do you know your close rate on those leads, the leads that Darryl kind of pulls online? Do you have a close rate?
So those are ones we are just starting based on prior data, Rachel.
Okay.
I'm going to guess that I'll end up closing about 10% of the list that he's generated. We do a good job on fine-tuning for an ideal customer profile before we start targeting people. So it's not a spray and pray sort of strategy. We try to be very specific about who we're talking to and then custom tailor the wording and the sequences of contacts that they get to address their specific use case. So if you saw on that list, what we're looking at is destination travel companies for this particular campaign, but you'll see he's segmented them into hunting companies, fishing companies, golf companies, skiing companies, adventure travel companies. So the sequences will be tailored based on the segment that they're in. That's really what helps your close rate. The tighter you can do on that and the better job you do on discovery when you get that first phone call with them. Those are the two things to me that really influence whether you have a successful outcome or not.
Okay, thanks.
Clay, do you have like, whether it's numbers or like an anecdotal story of, taking a client who came to you and is like, hey, we don't even have a CRM, we need help. And then over, some period of time kind of sharing like how their business changes when they go from not having CRM, not really having systems for the sales process to implementing these kind of sales systems that you talked about and you help people with. What does that typically look like in a business?
Sure. So one of my clients, the one that I mentioned over in Myrtle Beach, Golf Trek, they became a client May of last year. I built their first sales pipe. They've been around since the 90s. I built their first sales pipeline and process for them, trained their salespeople. They have 10 in-house salespeople. Trained their sales team on how to use it, as well as giving them talk tracks. In HubSpot, we call those playbooks. So they actually have not a script, but some guidelines to run through and basic questions. You always got to make sure you know this before you get off the call. We did everything for them from initial forms and landing pages on their website through the sales process. Their sales this year over year from last year, which last year was their best year ever. Their sales are up 30%. Their close rates improved by anywhere from 12 was the worst guy up to 50% for their best guy. As far as and all their salespeople happen to be guys. But they all improved dramatically in terms of their sales, and their time to close went from being 90 days down to 75 days, average time to close. And their average package size increased 40%.
Wow. Those are pretty compelling numbers.
And their owner is happy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Part of my talk track in selling someone is I will tell them, if I'm not bringing more money into your company than you're paying me, you should fire me. And their initial contract was for 3 months, but they don't have any intention at this point of letting us go.
I would not either. Well, I want to respect everyone's time. We've gone a little over our typical 45 minutes. Does anybody have a final question? Going once. All right. Clay, thank you so much for sharing with us. And Kiara and Clay are going to work together. We'll get all the information out to everybody who joined us today. Thank you so much for attending our mastermind. And next month or the month after, we're going to have a special speaker who has used virtual professionals for doing appointment setting and has been very successful, and share some tips on that. So keep an eye out for that announcement, and hopefully we'll see everyone here again next month.
That was great. Thank you, Harley. I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks everybody for putting up with me today.
Of course. All right. Have a great rest of your day.